Hello everyone, welcome to DevIncept. So today we are going to discuss about object detection using HAR cascades in OpenCV Python. So the file covers the object detection contents. So firstly, let us understand what is meant by object detection. Object detection is a computer technology which is related to computer vision, image processing, and deep learning that deals with the detection of instances of objects in the images and videos. We will do object detection in this topic using something known as HAR cascades. So, what are HAR cascades? HAR cascade classifiers are a very effective way for object detection. This method was first proposed by Paul Viola and Michael Jones in their paper Rapid Object Detection using a boosted cascade of simple features. This was a research paper written by them. So, HAR cascade is a machine learning based approach where a lot of positive and negative images are used to train the classifier. Coming to the requirements of in this topic, so first thing is that you have to make sure that you have installed Python and some modules like Matplotlib and OpenCV on your PC. Make sure that all are in the latest versions. Then the HAR cascade files can be downloaded from the OpenCV GitHub repository. If you click on this link, it will be redirected to this page, GitHub page. Here you can see everything. All the HAR cascade files are here. So you can just download it. Now let us see some theory behind HAR cascade classifiers that are used for object detection. Basically, we use HAR feature-based cascade classifiers to detect faces, eyes, smiles, as well as eyeglasses. In short, HAR cascade is a machine learning method where a cascade function is trained on a large amount of positive and negative images, which in turn can be used for object detection. The features are more specifically just single values received by subtracting the sum of pixels under the white rectangles from the sum of pixels under the black rectangles. So basically here there are three types of HAR features. There are edge features, which are in horizontal and vertical. You can see the black and white rectangles represented in horizontal and vertical. The second one is line features. This is like it will be in both vertical as well as horizontal. But if there are two rectangles which are in white at the both ends, then in the middle there will be a black which will be separating the two white rectangles as a line. So it is called as line features. And the third one is four rectangle features. Here you can see there are two whites and two blacks in adjacent with each other. Coming to the next topic, which is convolution. So convolution, it is essentially the result of two functions affecting one another. Here in our case, it signifies how the sum of pixels in the white and black part of the boxes interact, that is, how they are differentiated to produce a single value. It is defined as the integral product of two functions after one is reversed and shifted. The integral is evaluated for all values of the shift, producing the convolution function. Here you can see f and g are two signals. One is a square wave function and one is a triangular function. And when this asterisk is called as convolution operator, and when f is convoluted with g, you get the result as the convolution function as the result which you have got. So this is basically the convoluted function of both the square wave and the triangular wave. And here this is the cross convolution function output. Next is HAR feature selection. In this, the objects are classified on very simple features to encode the ad hoc domain knowledge and operate much faster than the pixel system. So the feature is similar to HAR filters, hence the name HAR. An example of these features is a two rectangle feature, which is defined as the difference of the sum of pixels of area inside the rectangle, which can be any position and scale within the original image. So in this example, you can see that this is the image of a man, and here you can see the edge features have been applied to this image. the input image. And again, in the next figure, you can see the line features have been applied. So when the edge features has been applied to this image, this will calculate the entire eye portion of the face of the input, and this is done through the Haar cascade frontal eye image, and this will calculate the eye ratio and the distance between two eyes and eye to forehead ratio, as well as this has been applied with line features technique. And lots of these Haar-like features can be applied to an image, and using the AdaBoost algorithm, which finds an optimal threshold for classifying the training images correctly. But placing one of these somewhere, even on the best possible position, it will result in some error still, since all the images within the positive and negative sets differ from each other. In the end, Haar features with the smallest error rates are chosen as classifiers. So let's see some of the problems and limitations of Haar cascades. The first thing is the classifier tends to be the most effective only for the frontal images of the face. And the second disadvantage or the limitation, what I would say, is Haar cascades are notoriously prone to false positives. It can be quite tedious to tune the OpenCV detection parameters. That is, there will be times when we can detect all the faces in an image, and there will be times when there will be no images or regions of an image that are falsely classified as faces, and if the faces are missed entirely, still it would detect it as a face. So these are some of the limitations. And coming to the applications, despite the arrival of deep learning, which involves RCNN and YOLO techniques, this Haar cascade classifier method is still used in many applications for the face and object detection, as this is very simple and yet very powerful. One of the primary benefits of Haar cascades is that they are just so fast, it's hard to beat their speed. It is an important part of the computer vision and image processing literature. It is still used with OpenCV, especially in Python. So let's move on to the implementation part. Here we have taken a face mask detection and social distancing as an example for the object detection using Haar cascade classifiers. So the notebook file that we have implemented can be found here. So to just give a brief about this, the objective is to build a deep learning model which can identify if the person is wearing a mask or not, also detecting if the person is violating the social distancing norms. So this is also done using Haar cascade classifiers in OpenCV Python. The first thing is you have to import the libraries such as NumPy, Pandas, OpenCV, and SkyPy. So then you have to download the dataset. The dataset that I have downloaded is from the Kaggle website. There you will get the Haar cascade classifiers dataset, as well as the images that are mask and no mask images dataset, which is a very huge dataset. Once you have downloaded that, you have to find the path of that or provide the path here. So once that is done, this will give the names of all the files that are present in the main folder, that is the XML files, the Haar cascade files, and the images, that is no mask and mask images. So see, you can see how large the dataset is. Okay. So the next step is to load the Haar cascade frontal face default.xml file. So here we use the cv2.cascade classifier, which takes the frontal face default classifier model as the input, and it is given to a variable called as face model. And to detect that, we import matplotlib that is mainly used to plot and visualize the data what we have collected. So when you import matplotlib and when you read the file, that is the image file, which is in .png format, so this is the image that you will get. And here you can see there are two coordinates, x and y, and w stands for width and h stands for height in the faces. So you can see the width and height of the faces. And to detect the social distancing violations, we have to keep a minimum distance. So as what we know, what we are aware of is that the minimum distance or the required distance to maintain social distancing is approximately 6 feet. But the minimum distance that we have considered here is 130 centimeters, which is approximately 4 to 4.5 feet in length. And to detect social distancing, the main thing is that there have to be at least two persons to be seen in the image. Only then you can calculate the distance between two persons and decide whether there is social distancing between the two persons or not. So if you check the condition, if the faces is greater than or equal to 2, then you can detect the distance between the two input faces, or else number of faces detected is less than 2 will be printed. So when you execute that code, you will get this as the output. And here you can see the green square that is marked here. It is having no mask, but he is socially distancing from the other two persons. But here when you see the red square, this means that the minimum distance between these two persons is less than 130 centimeters. So that is what is the inference here. Red box shows the violation of social distancing. Now we use VGG19 for mask detection. VGG19 is a convolutional neural network that is 19 layers deep. So here we use Keras application to import VGG19, and we can see that there are three directories that we have created. One is train dataset, and one is testing dataset, and one is validation dataset. So all the mask detected images will be classified into these three categories. So this is called as a categorical dataset or a categorical based folders where you can place all the images into these three categories. So you can use this image data generator and classify all the images. That was the huge data set which we had obtained from the Kaggle website. You can classify all those under these three categories: train, test, and validating. So you can see the output that we have found 10,000 images which belongs to the two classes, and 800 images belonging to the other two classes, and finally 800 images belonging to the last two classes. So coming to building VGG19 transfer learning model, here you can see that all the data which we have given into these three categories will be now segmented sequentially and applied with layers and functional type, layer type and VGG19 functional type, and flatten the input, and we'll apply the dense function. So when we try to fit the model inside the generator, so we have given 20 iterations so as to get good accuracy of the model during the training process. So we have given all the 20 epochs, and in every epoch we are getting good accuracy: 74, 91, 93, 96, and so on. So finally when you evaluate your model comes to be approximately 97.5% accurate. Now testing the model with a random sample image. So this is the image that we have considered as the input image, and here you can use this function called as model.predict to predict whether the input is having mask or no mask. So the output you have got here is 0.978, which is 97.8%. It is having mask. So here you can conclude that our model is correctly trained and tested. Now it's time to save the model. You can use the model.save and give any name .h5 as the extension. So integrating now the entire tested model with the R cascade. So now first we'll assign mask label to two values, that is 0 and 1, where 0 represents that mask is present and 1 represents that there is no mask on the face. Similarly, distance label, where 0 represents he is maintaining a good distance and maintaining the social distancing, and 1 represents that he or she is violating the social distancing norms. So again, you have to check for the same condition. If the length of faces is greater than or equal to 2, then you will be getting all the outputs, that is whether there is mask or no mask, whether they are maintaining the social distancing or not. So if there are less than 2 faces, then you will get only the output for whether there is a mask or not. If the number of faces is less than 2, then you will not get the result between the social distancing between the two images, as there will be only one image. So this is all about it. Let me now show you the deployment of face mask detection in real time using Django. So here you can see these are the project files and folders. The most important files here are mask detector.model, which is this one. This is our main model, and the other one is cafe model. This is also very important file. And other important files are camera.py, urls.py, and views.py. So in camera.py, we have written almost all the important and the necessary codes in Python, which are required for real-time mask detection using Django. So in order to do this, first you have to install Django on your local project directory. You can do that by typing in the terminal as pip install Django, or you can go to your file and go to settings. You can go to this project and under that Python interpreter, and here you can add click on this plus icon, and here you can type in as Django, and when you get this you can click on this install package, and your package will be installed. And you can see that over here, see, this is installed in my project directory. So once that is done, you have to install some more modules and libraries, which are TensorFlow, Keras, Immutils, and CV2 should be the primary requirement. Once everything is installed, you can start with your code. First is you have to load your serialized face detector model from the disk. These 4 lines of code will be written for doing that. And we will create a class by the name video camera, and we'll pass an argument as object. And here we are going to initialize the video camera capture. This is where the real-time face detection or the mask detection will be happening as the camera captures your face. And this function define get frame. So here you will be getting the continuous frames, and it will evaluate on each like 1 second whether the movement of your face is recognized, and it will look for the detection of the mask based on the pattern as well as movement of your face. So then you will use this function cv2.color, wherein you convert the color image to gray scale image, as it gives more accuracy when detecting the real-time faces. And here you can see these 4 parameters are passed inside the for loop. X and Y are the coordinates, and W is the width, and H is the height, which is in the faces. And coming to class IP webcam, this is where you can use an external webcam. Again, all these codes are used for just writing the function. And here you can see class mask detect. So in this class, this argument is passed, and this function is used to detect the mask, whether you have worn the mask or not worn the mask. So once everything is done, we use this cv2 dot destroy all windows, which will close the output screen, that is the webcam screen. So finally we use the detect and predict mask, and we use these formulas, and we'll give the ratio, and based on this ratio it will calculate whether the mask is worn properly or not at all worn. And again here, only make a predictions if at least one face was detected. That is, the length of the faces should be greater than 0. If not, there will be an error which will be resulting in it. So make sure that there is one face. So that's all. And coming to urls.py, here this is the very important line, live cam feed, where this is the place where it takes the mask feed, whether you have worn the mask or not, and it will take the information from the webcam and also from the video through the webcam. Finally, coming to home.html, this is the place where the image source is being called, that is mask.feed, and the dataset that we have used for this project is this R cascade frontal face default.xml file. This is the only file that we have used here, since we are obtaining the mask detection through the faces. So only this R cascade frontal face is sufficient for our data. So now it's time to run the project in real time. For that you have to just write 3 lines of codes. I'll show you. You have to type python space manage.py space make migrations and hit enter. This will take some time, like just 10 seconds like that. And after that, one more line, python space manage.py migrate and hit enter. And finally, the last line will be python space manage.py space run server and hit on enter. Here you will be getting an URL, so you can click on this HTTP. So when you click on this, your video live stream will open and it will ask for your webcam permission. So if you click on allow, you can see it's showing no mask and it's having an accuracy of 95 to 99%. And if I try to wear the mask, see, you can see that there is 95 to 96%, some 85%, a good amount of accuracy is showing that I have worn the mask now. So this is the face mask detection in real time, and this is deployed using Django on a real-time website. So that's it. You can break out of the loop by clicking on Control C now. Yes, that's it. Thank you for watching.